What's going on, my fellow farmer brothers and sisters? Welcome to Bourbon Beers Tractor and Prepping. I'm Sean, and let's get on this cub.
Oh, oh. Here I come. Oh, here I come.
Alright, so as you saw, we got the engine built. Everything ran really good. Everything sounds really good. I'm trying out this new GoPro, so hopefully the sound's coming through okay, and hopefully everything looks okay. I'm trying to look straight at the lens right there. But anyway, everything came out really good on this thing. So today we're going to get on these brakes, get these brakes done. In the video, I'm going to do one side complete, show you the whole process. The other side I'm just going to do on my own. But you'll get the idea of how easy it is to do the brakes. I've noticed there's no videos anywhere on YouTube showing to do the brake job on this beginning to end. I've noticed a lot of people will talk about the brakes and then they will show after it's done to say, so this is what I did. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. It's actually not hard at all. If you have a bad back, if you're older, younger, for some reason you can't lift anything heavy, definitely have an engine crane to lift the final drives out. But if you're able-bodied, just sit in your creeper chair, rolling up to it. Once you get the bolts out, you can pull those things right out. You really don't need anything to help lift them. They're super light. They're not hard. And then pretty much once the brakes are all done on here, I got to fill the transmission up with some new oil. I picked that up today because it was pretty milky inside there. Once I do that, she should be ready to put back together and ride. So let's get to those brakes. Alright, so I am back to using the little GoPro. I gotta start using this thing eventually. I only used it the once on the diesel when I was doing the injection pump, so now it's time to do it on the Cub. Anyway, so I went ahead, I didn't really start anything with the brakes, like I said I wouldn't, but I did go ahead and at least pull the wheels off. Figured that's no big deal. You guys don't have to see that part. But let me emphasize the importance though on these tractors, the Cultivisions. Make sure you shim that bolster on both sides, because if you jack that rear end up and you put jack stands even and you think you're good, when you pull off most likely that wheel right there, this tractor's going to go that way. Support that bolster, shim that thing any way you can. I got blocks in there. I just went a couple different directions. I want to stack that up, and I just have a wedge on that side, and as you see, she's good. Just make sure, you guys, when you jack up these Cultivisions. Alright, I guess I'm going to have to edit that out. I assumed the camera shut off and the battery died. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, alright, we're going to go ahead and get set up. And first, it's going to be the fenders. Get the fenders off first, and then I can start unbolting the finals. Honestly, you're supposed to use like an engine crane, something like that, to lift these off. These things aren't heavy, like, at all. So I don't really think I'm going to finagle around an engine crane to do these. I'm just going to go ahead and unpin the brakes. Well, now that I know what this camera does, I'm going to unplug it from the power source now because the battery didn't die. The screen time's out. But anyway, we're going to unpin the cotters right here. And pull the fenders. And then we can pull the rest of the bolts on the final and pull it out. I think I have an extra set of seals sitting around here for these. But anyway, yeah, we're going to go ahead and yank these out. Then I'll clean them up and then put them back in. Same with this side. We're going to go ahead and get these unbolted, pull that cotter and pull them out. And these are the new brakes for this one. These are the ones that have the arm attached like that, and it goes around. So as long as there's no blown seals inside, which again, if it is, so be it. I have seals. We're going to go ahead and get it taken care of. So let's go get these fenders off. Alright, it is absolutely 110% beer 30, my friends. This is after this day. Yeah, this buzz is for me. Oh, shit, that's good. Alright, let's get these fenders off of here. Hopefully not on break. It always makes me nervous when they pull like that. Say this one here a little sketchy. Yeah, I'm replacing that bolt. Because this is say, I have a feeling that one, if it gets put in there one or two more times, that puppy's snapping off. So yeah, we're putting some new bolts in there. Alright, remove this fender. Alright, so as far as those, that's it. There's a few down here we have to pop out, pop the clevis loose, and honestly this driver here is ready to go. The only thing is, I didn't check the transmission to see how full it is with oil. I should probably check that. Even though I have a feeling it's not that full, but you know, a little side note, it's actually pretty cool about these things. There's actually a hole back here as well for this, and the reason is when these are actually used for the low boys, they are actually spun this. Hold on, this way, that way. Maybe it's backwards. I think the final drive. I can't remember. The final drive I think faces the cover faces backwards. Maybe it faces forward. I don't know. Don't quote me on that part. But it's cool. These are actually the same for a low boy as they are for these. They're just rotated. So they actually put the other hole in to be able to actuate the brake. So anyway, just a little side note. I thought it was pretty cool. But all right, let me go ahead and check the levels and get this thing off. Alright, I figured I'd bring you guys over for this. Let's just say I'm going to go ahead and drain this transmission. I don't know if you can see that or not. It looks like you can. But that is extremely milky. That is really bad. Yeah, she got a lot of moisture. Let's just say when I took this cap off, I didn't even have to use a wrench. It came off hand tight. I mean, honestly, if these things sit out, I mean, the culprit is usually around the shifter. That'll actually get moisture in. If these are left loose, that can get moisture in. A lot of times, depending on the barns it's sitting in, going from hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, it can create moisture inside there as well and milk these up. But let's just say, yeah, we're putting some new high train in this puppy. So I'm going to go ahead and drain this out of there, and then we're going to get back on this final drive. Alright, let's let the fun begin. Got the plug loose. Maybe a little catch. Let's see how pretty this stuff is. Oh, it is beautiful. Yeah. I was going to say, that was absolutely necessary. I gotta say, she stinks. Drain plug. It's got some goop in there. Good thing is I'm not seeing any kind of metal or any bearings or any other parts coming out yet. So that's a good thing. You always want to look for that. And that thing's going to spit because now both holes are plugged. Oh, I hate that. Yeah, I love playing with stuff when it does that. Yeah, there's not a damn thing I can do about it apparently. Maybe I can undo this front cap. There we go. Give her a place to go into, because if not, yeah, this shit's spitting. Yeah. This old girl, unfortunately, had a little bit of neglect going on, I'd have to say. We will take care of that one beer at a time. Alright, she's slowing down. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. I'm thinking what I'm probably going to end up doing is when I get these drives off, I might take a little bit of diesel and take my battery powered pump from Harbor Freight, turn it on, spray it all out inside there, and shoot some of that crap out of there. It'll definitely help. I mean, usually what you can do is, if I wasn't doing the brakes and I was just doing a fluid change, I would just fill this up with some diesel, drive it around a little bit, let it mix itself up, come back in, drain it back out, and then you're good to go. But since we're taking the brakes and doing this, unfortunately I'm going to have to spray it out. No big deal. The drives are off. I can get right in there easily. Shit, while I'm at it, I might go ahead and pull that shifter cover off. Check all the forks, check everything on it, make sure everything's good, and then put it back together. So, now's the time to do it. Trying to get this puppy ready for plowing some snow this year. She's a slow go. I want that to finish draining before I pull these drives though, because it's holding my cardboard. Alright, I'll be right back after this thing is done. Alright, so let's go ahead and pull these pins out of here. Another note, make sure you guys do, if you pull these final drives off, if you have a bad back or you don't feel like balancing it, yes, absolutely bring in an engine hoist. Put yourself a sling around this puppy. Hold on to it. Yeah, the bolt caught my finger. Hold on to it, and then it'll, easy enough to pull out. I don't really need a hoist because these are super light. But just saying, if you do, go ahead and also another note, put your one top bolt back in here. Don't have to make it tight, just enough to make sure this thing doesn't come loose off of this alignment pin when you pull those two bottom ones out. Because as you loosen the bottom ones, this thing will start tipping forward, and she'll fall right off on you. So just do that. Alright, let me pull this cotter pin, or break this cotter pin off, one of the two, because it doesn't look too healthy. I think tonight, I'm thinking this video is going to end after I pull this one final drive. Let's just say so far tonight, can't really say I've had a problem with stuff. Everything's coming off okay. But let's just say my fingers and my wrist and everything is starting to get a little painful. Apparently everything just kind of wants to fall and cut and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm thinking tonight. And no, I only had one beer. Actually, I'm only halfway through that beer, so it's not the beer. But let's just say it's one of those nights. I think I'm gonna have to call it quits. Tackle this again in the morning. Alright, let's see how well this works this time. Yep, I think it should possibly come out now. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, you guys ever have one of those days or nights where work was okay, wasn't awful, but you're ready to get done and looking forward to working on your tractor, and then when you get home and work on your tractor, you can't stop cutting yourself, smashing your fingers, doing this, that. It's like, okay, kind of taking the fun away now. Anyway, alright, that's off. These are loose. Just gotta figure out where I'll put my wrench when somebody showed up. There we go. And again, 9/16. Final drive is just tipping down a little bit, so it's enough to pinch it. Alright, broken lock washer, common, and little shorty bolts under there. One more right here. At least this one's a little easier to manage and get to. Alright, thing recording? Yeah, it's recording. Except I'm still trying to get used to this thing. Sorry, I had to pause for a minute. My wife was yelling. It's dinner, so I wanted to make sure I hit pause for that. That's amazing. These damn bolts ain't that long, but I feel like they're taking forever to unscrew out of there. There we go. Good lord. Yeah, not that long. Alright, so at that point there, I'm going to lift this up with my knee, pull this top bolt out of here. And right now this final drive is free. So I'm going to go ahead and stand up, get my seat out of the way, give this old girl a couple wiggles, and then pull her out, drop her down. And that is all there is to pulling a final drive. As I said, not that hard. And I'm telling you, I'm actually kind of happy. Because this puppy is not wet inside. Don't. Inside here at all. It's actually dry inside here. The seals actually look like somebody may have gone ahead and put a set of seals in here. That doesn't make any sense though, because the brakes on this thing was absolute garbage. I mean, this thing did not stop to save my life. Let me pop this out of here. I mean, brakes ain't that old. Oh, I'm going to turn it this way. Alright, just work with me, guys. I'm trying to work this camera and look at the screen at the same time. They're not that old from what I'm seeing. Not sure how they're going to look when I take them off. But it's not oil soaked in there. I mean, cobwebs is a good sign, actually. But you can see the shaft. I mean, right now, yes, it's dripping off that way. That's definitely a replaced seal. So somebody has replaced that. Clean the junk out of there, but all in here is dry. It's amazing that some of that shit that can get in there. All through little itty bitty holes through here and here. That's crazy. Alright, well, now I'm also going to replace the fluid out of the final drive. But, well, let me see. Now I'm trying to do this with one hand. Let me see if I can grab the greasy shaft. Oh my god, I got you guys all over the place. Okay. I'm going to put this shit back in the stand. Because you know what? I can't hold this, wiggle that, and look at that screen all at the same time. Alright, hang tight. Alright, that's a little better. So, let's get this off of here and see what's going on with it. There's the guide pin. I mean, anything I can think of is maybe I should take the drum off of there and refinish the surface of that drum. There's a good chance it could be pretty slick. Again, I mean, these aren't bad. As you can see, they're not down to the rivets or anything. But let's just say when you punch the brakes on this thing, they were non-existent. There was no brakes. Anyway, alright, well, that's easy enough. Well, there you go. I mean, as you see, it's that simple getting the brakes out of here. What I'm thinking what I'll do is, when I pick this back up tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and pop these drums off of here. I mean, they're on the keyway, I guess, depending on how rusty they are. See how bad they are to get off. If they're too bad to get off, I'll just put a piece of sandpaper in there and flap it around and just kind of go to town and give it a nice little surface. You know, if it comes down to it, that might be easier. But not bad. Not bad at all. Alright. Now we have another side to go, and that's it. So I'm probably not going to film the other side. I promised I would show the brakes on a side. I didn't say both sides. But just keep in mind that this side here, it's got the short shaft. The one on the other side, it's It's got the long shaft that goes all the way through the rear axle, you know, tubing to come into here. So give yourself enough space on the other side. But what I'll do is, so I'll get the other side out and get it all ready. We don't need a seal on here, so I guess I'm not going to make a seal up for it. Alright, I'm rambling. Let me get that other side off, and then when I pick this up tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and clean this up and put this thing back together. And should be able to flip those wheels around tomorrow and get it back on. And once I get that done, I can probably go ahead and put the hood back on and kind of get that stuff buttoned back up. Change the fluid out of the rear end here. And honestly, from that point, it's putting the snowplow on. I mean, we should be good to go. So, fingers crossed. Alright, my friends, I'll be back in the morning. Alright, so here I am out here on day 2. Had a not so good day, so haven't really had time to get out here and work on this. But anyway, this is what you usually find on Mouse-dominium. Usually, whenever you take this stuff apart, and as you see, they had a good time in there. So we're going to get all that vacuumed out of there, get all this cleaned up, and then I'm going to attempt to go ahead and pull those drums. And if they give me a fit, I'm just going to go ahead and sand those drums in place. Pretty much once I do that, I'm pretty much ready to go ahead and put this thing back together. So, like I was saying before, I'm probably just going to go ahead and do the video on this side. I got to get that stuff out of there too. Do the video on this side over here, show how to put it back on, set the brakes on there. Then I'm going to do the other side, and then I'll come back on here and show how to adjust the brakes. So anyway, let me get that other side vacuumed out. Oh my god, sorry guys, I'm really moving this thing around. Let me get that other side vacuumed out, and then we'll get back to it. Okay, so this is, yeah, can't really see what it is. I think it's 5/16 Allen nut. Loosen that. 9/16 lock nut. Loosen that. Once you get that loose, put a screwdriver in from behind, and just go ahead and pop that drum off of there. Pretty much just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to resand this surface, hopefully with a piece of emery. I'm not sure exactly which way I'm going to do this yet. I'm thinking about possibly clamping this in the vise and then run that emery around it. Haven't really figured that part out yet. I think that's the route we're going to go. So let me go ahead and we're going to go over to the vise, pop this puppy in, and see if we can sand a nice new surface on there so this thing actually has something to bite to instead of this, because that's not going to work too well. But it comes off pretty easy. But once we get it off like that, go inside, just clean everything up, make it look good. As far as wear wise, not at all, actually looks pretty good. Now there is a keyway in here, so you really can't mistake which way it goes back in. And then looks like I got a little bit more to vacuum out inside there. And then we're going to go ahead and pop that puppy in. So let's go over to the vise and take care of this. Alright, I think that's pretty good in the vise. Oh my god. It's about a 10 beer 30 right now. I guess long story short, hang on. Guess long story short, I mean, I guess it is what it is. But let's just say this company that I've been working for going on 24 years decided to lay me off today. That's some awesome news before the holidays, huh? Yeah. Still a little bit of disbelief here, but just to say the company, New Look Home Design, is a fucking joke. Perfect performance. I was the first installer for this company after they started. After a few years of being with them, I was the first installer for windows and doors. to get them past the $1 million sale mark when that company started. I've had nothing but excellent reviews from every customer. I've fixed every issue the company has had. I've fixed issues from other installers who screwed up things repeatedly. When they started the solar division, I ran the solar side, got all that fixed. I could pretty much take apart any window, any door, any style, any brand, any company. Install them, fix them, repair them, no matter what, I could always do it. And I wasn't the only one. 2 other guys got laid off today too that were higher up in the field. But I was the longest employee. The only other employee was 10 years. And I was there for almost 24 years. It is what it is. What can I do? They actually told me that I have the option for a rehire in the future. I guess if they ever restructure. It's like, you guys literally laid me off without any notice. You called me in the morning of a rainy day to tell me that. And they think I would actually go back when they decide to restructure for a rehire. When they left everybody basically with their D.I. blank blank S in their hands. Oh well. So here I am now at just turned 50. Just had a birthday, September 14th. And now I gotta start all over again with another company. You know, if I had the place and the means to do it, I would just open up a restoration repair shop for these tractors. But sadly, I don't know if that would actually pay the bills. Oh well. Trying to keep an open mind and just maybe think it's maybe a blessing in disguise. Maybe it was time to move on. As to say, with that company, I did everything for them. They even had pissed off customers from other installers. I go out, I fix the job, I talk with the homeowners, I get things straight, and then boom, excellent reviews. Nothing but excellent reviews on every Google review they've had. I've never had a bad review, ever. Talk about a slap in the fucking face. But anyway, move on with my day. And that's pretty much all it is to getting a nice surface on that drum. As you see, very nice, very clean, 180 grit emery. You could probably go a little more coarse if you wanted to. It's not like we're doing high speed stops here, but that's pretty much all you gotta do. Resurface these drums. Now, obviously, the reason you want to take them off and check them too is you want to make sure they ain't got no cracks in them, no breaks or anything, in case somebody was hauling something a little too heavy. But yeah, just put a socket one side, socket on the other side, lock her on in, and do your thing. And as you see, surface looks good now. So this is pretty much ready to put back on. I might go ahead and just take this nut out, clean it up, wire wheel a little bit, put a little anti-seize on it, put her back in, and then this should be ready to rock and roll. Let's go over there and get it back in. After I clean this up, I'll be back. Alright, so we're ready to put this thing back together. Try not to do too much bitching on my channel. Not really bitching, let's just say upsetting. So, like I said, I try to keep certain things off the channel and not really say too much, so. Alright. Start it back in there a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead and lock her back in. That's it. Put her back in. Tighten this down until it seats, and then we'll lock that nut back down. It feels like it's touching down. Obviously, you got to hold the hub on the other side. Like that. Get this thing nice and snug. You don't want it coming off. Apparently, people won't stop by. Turn that lock nut. And that's it. One cleaned up drum, ready to go. Good, how you doing? Alright, just some motor oil I had delivered for the tractors. You know, when you go to Tractor Supply, I think it's like $19 for some of that oil. Got it off of Amazon for oh shit, what did I pay? I think 40 bucks for 3 of them. Yeah, and people wonder why we go to Amazon when we have to buy things. So anyway, alright, let's go ahead and now you'll notice, see how far the original one is bent down, and see how the new one is. So you'll have to make sure that you get this puppy bent all the way down and get her back in place. And then we'll do that clevis after. But also, the pin that holds it in place, you want to make sure you clean all that up too. Make sure it's all nice and clean. And you know what, actually, before I do this, I am going to put a little anti-seize on this. So, let me go get that anti-seize out again. Alright, so this obviously goes into this hole right here, and that's what lines that brake up. So, let me see first. Sometimes this is the fun part. This is the part that can actually drive you completely insane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to bend this kind of close-ish to the original. Yeah, that's right, Doi. She goes that way. I think that's why I had it the first time. I don't know. Mine's not totally into this, but I'm trying. Alright, let's put a little anti-seize on the tip of this thing. Don't need a lot, just a little. Slide it on in there. That way that brake can't lock itself up. Let's see how well we can get that in there without making an absolute total mess when it decides to pop out, move, go all over the place. what I want to do is I want to get this thing to pop the one down. I wonder, I don't think this is going to work, but I wonder if I put this pin in first, if this will make this a little better. Let me check that hole. No, everything's out of there. I don't see anything else in there. Yeah, it's pretty clean. Let's try it this way. I'm going to line that up. Youch, those little fibers are sharp, buddy. I think a rubber hammer would do this job good. Let me grab a rubber hammer real quick. Now, I don't want to hit it hard and go messing everything up here, so all I need to do, no, it's in. It looks kind of funky. I mean, she's in. She's in, but you know what? I know this drum goes all the way in. I'm almost thinking this drum could come out a little bit more towards this edge. Get more of a contact point on there. At least that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, everything's in there. Everything's seated. But yeah, let's just say the contact patch is about halfway, which is really weird. Much as I hate to do it, I think I'm popping this back off. Easier said than done. It's in there, and it spins like it's supposed to. Alright, I'm going to double check something on the other side and see if these brakes, well, you know, let's grab this one. Grab the one from the other side. Take a look at this thing once. I mean, they're the right brakes, no question on that part. I want to see if they're any thicker. Yeah, they're all the same width. Everything's the same. Yeah, it bends up the same, pulls out the same. So, yeah, everything's right. But, it's just weird it doesn't go all the way on that drum. But I do want to take a look at the other side real quick. Alright, so a little brain fart. I was looking at the final drive. The direction it was, the brake band for one had to go this direction. Out this way, because I'm going to spin it, put it back in, so it has to go this way. But what I did was, I took this drum and I actually brought it out to this edge right here to give it a little bit more of a contact surface. Because when this even goes into that pivot pin right there, it hangs off probably about a 1/4 inch, and that's what the other one did as well. And then this obviously just goes around it. So I'm guessing that these bands, once they get on, this gets locked into the transmission itself. It'll line this up, and then this will go in, and then for the most part it'll stay about a 1/4 inch off all the way around. So that's what the original was, and the book doesn't say exactly where this needs to sit, but honestly, pulling it off just to this edge instead of pushing it all the way back tight where it goes, to me doesn't make a difference and should be just fine. Because it's still locking into the keyway, it's still holding in place, it's still tightened up, still a whole 9 yards. It's just out just a little bit more, because it was about a 1/2 inch hanging off, and honestly, that's not a lot of pad. I like to have a little bit more on there. So we're going to see how that works. Yeah, it's a shame these pads really weren't in bad shape, but didn't stop, so I'll put it that way. Honestly, from this point, we can slide this thing back in, and then we'll have to break the, oh my god. Yeah, see, I shouldn't be doing this video today. But I promise I'll do this thing from start to stop. But anyway, we gotta break this clevis off of here, which shouldn't be too bad. And then I'll clean it up, put it back on. Once everything's in, I'll probably just go ahead and touch up this rod with the paint and everything and make it look good. But honestly, from this point, it should be ready to set back in. So let me get all this crap out of the way and put her in. Alright, see if I can get this thing to lock in place with this table in the way. So, I guess that'll be the worst part, is getting that band back in place. And all I got is a 50-inch screwdriver here. Looks like it's almost in there. Just to say, try to look in there, trying to see that little pin. At the same time, you're trying to get this drive lined up. There we go. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And there she is. Alright, she is in. Tuck a couple bolts in here temporarily, just so she don't fall. And she's in. Alright, and that is it, my friends, and everything spins. She's free. That lines up right there where that clevis is going to be. That's pretty much it for that part. So I guess let's go ahead and break that clevis loose. Screw it on here. I'm going to put a new pin in, and then I'm going to do the other side, and then we'll come back over once both sides are on. We'll adjust these brakes. So let me go ahead and get this thing off of here real quick. Alright, I'm going to go to the vise and I'll be back. Alright, that actually came off pretty easy. Now there's a lot of junk on these threads, so let's see how well this thread's back on. Get this out of the way here. I'm knocking you guys all over the place. Let me move back up to where we were. Yeah, it looks like you can see everything. Oh, that's going to be a long go with that. Yeah, let me grab a socket because that's going to take forever. Oh yeah, and I did realize, I did tell you guys the wrong size socket for that drum. It was a 1/4. It wasn't 5/16. That should be plenty far for that. And then I guess I should have tried to find a pin before I started the video back up. Yeah, let me grab a pin. Alright, so I grabbed a 5/16 drill bit just to run through there. You can just do it by hand, just enough to clean that up a little bit. 5/16 clothespin, and then she goes right in. Good to go. Alright, let's screw this on. I should have ran a tap through here. Oh yeah, she got some junk in there. Jeez, guess I should have did that again before I started the video. Oh my god, let me go ahead and run a tap through this and I'll tell you what size I used. Alright, maybe after this time we're finally ready to go. 5/16 by 24. And let's see if she threads on a little better now. Much better. Alright, so obviously I'm not really doing any adjustment to it yet. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in position until I can test the brakes and measure for the clearance, which I have to check the book and see what they say. But as far as the drums, there is no spec on that drum to tell you how far in or out it needs to be. So let's see if what we did works. But if she's on there enough, let me unlock the two brakes. What's it say? They're not being totally set. So far she locks pretty good, but I definitely feel I'm going to have to adjust this a little looser to take some tension off of that. But I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to jump to the other side, get that done, come back, and then we're going to adjust this, check it, see how it is. Then I'll be getting the wheels back on it, reversing the wheels so I can get them out a little wider. And then I think from there we're going to end up putting the hood back on it. I did clean out the gas tank. It wasn't really that dirty, just had a little bit of junk at the bottom of it. And I did put the screen on the glass bowl. Hang on. I did go ahead and epoxy the screen on there, so that way when we put it in there, it doesn't catch that sediment from the bottom. So that way this will help catch some before she drops into there, and then we don't get any clogs up inside this area here. I think that was a little bit of the problem. I think there was just a little bit of stuff floating around there, and just enough came through, gave a little bit of blockage in here. I think that gave a little bit of fuel issue, but not much, because the tank's not rusty really at all. It just looks like it's old gas that dried up at the bottom at one point. But yeah, we're good to go. So let me get this other side done. Alright, so the wheels are back on. So now it's time to go ahead and get these brakes adjusted. Today is a little better day than it was yesterday, so yeah. Got the wheels on, got the wheels reversed and everything, so happy with that. I did notice that this thing was missing the clutch spring, and the two brake springs were in like horrible shape, so I had to replace those. I had another set of those on the shelf, so it was all good. Alright, so what the book calls for is about 7/8 free travel on these. Now obviously it's a hard thing to do to try to measure this. So you just pick yourself a spot like off the final drive, check the top right there, and then as you push that pedal forward, you just want to see what your travel is. So I'm actually going for about 3/4. Because I want to give time for those bands to bend around, and I think once they bend around a little bit, then where that rod, okay, I'll put it this way, when those things bend around, I think that rod is going to move forward more, which is going to give me more of that 7/8. So I'm going to go about 5/8, and then reconvene after I drive it a little bit and see how she does. But I'm thinking that should be about good, actually. Obviously, this thing only has a top speed of 6 miles an hour, so I really don't think that we're ever going to go fast enough to really, cause any issues. Most of the time these things only get driven about 3 miles an hour, so I think we're actually pretty good. So both pedals seem like they're actually pretty even. So I'm going to call that done. And like I said, just like anything else, just check back into it after you drive a little bit and see how everything is. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and lock these lock nuts down. We'll do a quick walk around and then kind of show how everything looks in the end. And that's pretty much it. So actually, I could probably go ahead and just do it now, because all I got to do is tighten that lock nut up. Alright, let's go on over here. So yeah, the springs, you can see this one was pretty stretched, pretty far out of shape. And then the other one was marginal, it wasn't awful, could have got by. But the clutch didn't have any on there, so we should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and lock down this lock nut. I already adjusted this brake, and that should be good to go. Let me see if I can find my way. This does have a magnet, but I never know if it works. Let's see. Yeah, until it falls in the oil, we should be good. Alright, so we're going to get tire spin, boom. Ooh. Tire spin, done. Yeah, she locks up pretty good. So yeah, I think that's pretty good for the travel for right now. So I think we are good. So yeah, I went ahead and I moved the rims out, to its further point, just to give a little bit wider of a stance to the back end. I did shoot a little tire shine on here just to help kind of soften these back up a little bit. It's going to need another coat, but it's better than leaving these things dry, because as you see, when they sit and they stay dry, they start to crack. From what I'm again using it for, these will be just fine. Eventually, maybe I'll replace them. Not anytime soon. Alright, my friends, so that concludes everything for the brake portion. I guess the next video, we're going to go ahead and wire up the lights. Well, not lights, the one light for the voltmeter or ammeter, and then put the hood back on, hook the fuel line back up, get the headlights working as far as new bulbs, new rear tail light bulb, mount the snowplow, and that's it. This Cub is ready to rock and roll. So, not bad at all. So make sure you hit that notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. It's appreciative. Definitely helps the channel. And then we're going to go ahead and get back on it and finish this thing up and take it for a ride. But she definitely looks a lot better, at least cleaned up, wiped down. Tires cleaned up a little bit. Now I got to get off the jacks, get this wood out of the front end, and we're good to go. So again, thanks for watching. It's much appreciated. Until next time.